Okay, now we want to use Jing. But before we make a snip, let me acquaint you with the sun, which is down here in the task tray, which got there, of course, because it was started at boot time. You right-click on it, and you have a capture option from here. So if you have not programmed it to a function key, you could capture from here. And there are certain pages I found out that cannot be captured with a function key. You have to go to here. Never figured out why that is so. Then they have a nice little feature which is history, which shows you the last snips you made, which is pretty nice, in case you lost them for whatever reason. Then you have a more button. A more button brings up the sun where you can change your settings or whatever you want to do. And then you have two more entries that you probably don't want to use. You can check for updates. I never do, because if it ain't broke, don't fix it. And you have an exit button here, which I wouldn't recommend to use, because it would actually stop Jing, and you would have to restart it when you want to use it, which is not very convenient. Okay, now with the capture button here, you can only capture the way you can capture, for example, with a snipping tool of any other program, because you have to click on it. However, when you use Jing from the function button, let me try this here, yeah, and you have a context menu, then you don't have to click, because as soon as you click, it's gone. So the context menu you can capture by pushing your function key, in my case F9, and then you can capture it, and you can save it. This is your capture button, and you save it, and you save it to where do we save it here? To the Jing file. Yes, then it will appear here. Yeah, it will appear right here, and there it is. Okay, so let's get rid of that. We don't really need that. Now, for a capture, for a more elaborate capture, let us start with F9. I push F9, and we capture an area, same way you capture with any snipping tool. Very simple. And you save the capture, and then you can do certain things. For example, here is a arrow. You can make an arrow like this to point to something, or like this. And the arrow always goes where you started at the end, and where you ended is the start, the arrow itself. So that is pretty simple. Then you can make some text. For example, these are the narration files. Okay, now you have this, and as you can see, it's a little big, so you activate it, and you make it a little smaller. But if you wanted to make the text bigger, you just go up here, and it makes the text bigger. Or if you want to make it smaller, you go here, of course. Then you can, if you want to change the color of the text, you can go here, and you can change the color of the text. Okay, if you want to change the color of your, oops, I don't know what happened. Something happened here. Let me see. Okay. If you want to change the color of your frame, for example, you go over here and you change the color of your frame. Okay. You can do that for anything. You can do it, for example, for your arrows. You only have to activate the arrow. And then you go here and you make a yellow arrow. Okay. Now, the files for narration are these here, my MP3 files, which are the files that I converted the narration to in my WAV files. Why do I have them twice? Well, MP3 files are not accepted by PowerPoint. It needs WAV files. Unfortunately, WAV files are about 10 to 20 times the size of MP3 files. So I use a little trick. I make a WAV header on top of the MP3 file. So
PowerPoint thinks it gets what files, but they're really MP3 files. And that makes my PowerPoint presentation a lot smaller, which is very convenient if you store them, or especially if you upload them to the upload site. Little trick here. Okay, then you can make, if you go over here, you can make a frame. Nice little frame. Oops. And here. And here again, if you don't like that color, you change the color. Oh, what would you like? A green frame? Green frame. Okay. Or if you want to highlight something, you can highlight. Let's highlight this here. You can highlight this. Of course, it will highlight it in the last color chosen, but this is not a good highlight color, so we change it to that color. By the way, if you don't like the 9 colors, you have custom colors here you can make. So absolutely no problem. So now we have made ourselves a little snip here. By the way, if you want to get rid of something like this arrow here, you just pull it out and off it goes. Okay, so this is what we have. Now let's go down here. You save it with this button, and you save it to where we want to save it. Now we'll save it in our Jing file here, so that we can see it. And here it came. Okay, here it is. Here's our picture. So the way we made it. So absolutely no problems. That is about all I can tell you about operating. It's very simple to operate, but it has a lot of possibilities, and I hope you can make good use of it.